This summer, we went back to Portugal. That's right, we returned to Portugal after being there a year ago and absolutely falling in love with the country. What we want to talk about in this episode is our first 48 hours in Portugal in the city of Porto. We flew out of Lancaster, PA to the Dulles Airport in Washington, D.C. And from there, we flew to Belgium and then into Porto.
Everyone's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
I am going to fall over
and excited
right now.
to be here.
We took a boat to our Airbnb down by the Douro River. For those of you unfamiliar with Bolt, Bolt is the equivalent of Lyft or Uber here in the United States. We returned to the Airbnb that we stayed at last year because after all, it's one of the reasons we fell in love with Porto, Portugal. Now our Airbnb was in the historic district of Porto, right along the old port. So literally you can look out the window, see the Dom Luís Bridge, absolutely one of the most picturesque bridges in Portugal, in my opinion, maybe even in the world. Now, this Airbnb has 4 different floors. We stayed on the top floor. And for those of you with mobility issues, that's a little bit significant because there are no elevators in this Airbnb. That meant that going up or leaving the Airbnb, you have to either climb or descend 4 flights of stairs. So it's something to keep in mind. After 36 hours of travel and minimal sleep, we had arrived around lunchtime and we were famished. So we decided to go downstairs to the restaurant right next door, the Maria Triperia, which is a creperie place we absolutely loved. All the food we had there was absolutely amazing.
Saluting. Cheers.
Try to do this looking through the lens of a film.
I know what's going to happen here. You guys are going to devour.
What are you thinking of your charcuterie?
It's delicious.
You like it?
It's salty, it's fresh.
What's your favorite? The prosciutto?
Prosciutto with this cheese, which is like an herb soft cheese that I've never had before, and it's great.
Wonderful Portuguese crepes. And here's my cinnamon sugar crepes. First time having crepes in Porto, Portugal.
I've never had crepes in my life.
After eating, Kristen and I decided to walk along the old port and just revisit some of the sites we had seen the prior year. Kiefer, being tired, decided to go back to the room to play a video game. Although when we checked in on him later, he was dead asleep. When walking throughout the historic district of Porto, Portugal, you see a lot of street musicians, especially on the Porto side of the river.
This is traditional music from the Madeira Islands. That's all I got.
There you go.
Besides the street musicians, we enjoyed just looking at the beautiful architecture, tiled in all these blue tiles, something that's a signature of Porto, and just enjoying our beautiful surroundings and gardens. It felt like we had come back to our second home. For dinner, we decided to eat by the river. So we picked up Kiefer, and went to a place called Porto Escondido, a restaurant that we looked up based on a recommendation from fellow YouTubers Josh and Kalie from Expats Everywhere. Now we'll put links to every place we mention in the description below if you want to visit it yourself.
Here we are at Porto Escondido. And what did I order? I ordered the Francino
Frenchesina.
Frenchesina. It's true. I can't see it.
Sandwich.
I did the French in Porto, right?
Porto
with.
Or I think
I'm getting mine with like eggs and French fries.
There's a lot going on right there.
It is. It is. What are you getting?
I'm getting the calamari platter with
Okay.
French fries and salad.
And Kiefer, what are you getting?
You're getting steak, French fries.
Yeah, the steak, egg,
You get the egg on there?
egg on that.
Oh, wow.
After all, everything needs an egg. Calamari.
Fried calamari.
And you have your egg with steak. And I got my francini. Ooh, with an egg. You can see the egg. Kind of look at that. You can see the egg at the top there.
This is like the
Your
national
camera is so
dish.
good.
A heart attack in a plate, not on a plate.
There is. So here, I did a poor job of cutting it, but
Salute.
it's a sauce
That is a
apparently.
ginormous. Oh my god. Oh my god.
What
Really?
do you think? What do you think?
It's a big bite. Oh my god.
I like my bite. It tasted good. Not as bad as the one we had last year.
Right?
I like this one.
That was a terrible one.
This was a good one. So definitely worth it. I liked it. Kristen's now going to try the Francesino or Francini. I'm probably totally butchering it. Don't judge my Portuguese.
No.
In a year, we'll be very disappointed.
We will be back. I know.
But I can't get enough. Oh my god. It's like so fat. How can these people be so thin? Honestly, I
They walk everywhere.
haven't weight person yet, and look at these things they eat. No,
Still not doing it for you.
Chris and I decided to go across the Don Luis Bridge to the other side of the river to a town known as Gaia. Gaia, Portugal is a vibrant city located on the south bank of the Douro River, just across from where we were staying. It's famous for its production of port wine. I'm not a huge wine drinker. If you want to know more about that, you can go back to some past episodes where I talked about some of the unique things about me growing up Mennonite. While walking along the river, there's always tons of Mozambique vendors, and we visited the Casa Portuguesa de Pastel de Bacalhau. I'm totally pronouncing that bacalhau. I'm not sure, bacalhau. This place is known for its salt cod fritters.
So it's potato and port wine
Potato,
with cheese.
yes. The codfish, potato, codfish, onion, garlic, basil, olive oil, and cheese.
Okay. You want to go clubbing?
The answer, Kristen, is no. No, I do not want to go clubbing. After spending some time exploring Gaia, we headed back across the bridge to the Porto side of the river. We headed back to our room and turned in a bit early. After all, we were quite a bit jet lagged. We did take a little bit of time to sit on the balcony and breathe and marvel that once again we were back in Portugal. The next day, we got up and we went to eat at a place called Miss Pavlova, the Pink Bar. It was a very relaxed breakfast experience. Food was awesome. You want to bribe me? I love the croissants with chocolate inside, and I get them anytime I can, and that's what I got this morning. This was a raspberry cappuccino that was absolutely to die for.
This is a Portuguese, what is it?
French toast.
Portuguese French toast. Look at this piece of art. What do you think?
I'm excited to try it.
What do you think?
Oh, wow. What?
Kiefer had pancakes with raspberries on top. and they were absolutely delicious. After resting a bit in the morning, Kristen and I headed out to meet with Josh and Kalie from Expats Everywhere. We were meeting them at the Atunes restaurant. It was a really authentic Portuguese experience. Virtually no one spoke English in this restaurant, and the food was genuine Portuguese cuisine, and we absolutely loved it. Josh and Kalie pointed us to a local thrift store, as Kristen and I really love thrift shopping. She typically goes for the clothing. I'm always on the search for some new vinyl. The store we went to was a Humana secondhand store, and they literally have stores all over Europe. After doing a little bit of thrift shopping, we went to the outdoor market. Now, this market is an historic market located in Porto, Portugal. After the market, Kristen was on a quest for new shoes. Kristen found the Cork shoes there extremely comfortable. And for those of you that don't know, Portugal is one of the leading countries in cork production. While Kristen was shopping for shoes, I found myself at a coffee shop across the street. There, they actually made pastel de nata, a custard-like pastry that is a signature of Portugal. The coffee shop was called Manteigaria, Fábrica de Pastel de Nata. I sat there enjoying a pastry, watching people, and a good cup of coffee. It had the feel of a Portuguese Starbucks.
My husband has taken me to restaurants many times, but I've never gone in a Teleférico.
The view from this cable car was absolutely amazing as we rode up toward the restaurant we were heading to, with sweeping views of both Gaia and Porto. What began as a beautiful mountaintop restaurant experience really surprised us. While we were waiting for our meal, a crowd began to gather on the hillside, and we wondered what celebrity or which parade was going to be coming down the street. It was only at sunset that we realized that the Portuguese community came together to celebrate the sun setting at the end of a beautiful summer day. What an example to us as Americans, a reminder to slow down and celebrate the little things in life. After the sunset, Kiefer went back early. Kristen and I took a more leisurely walk back. The reality is, Portugal is absolutely stunning at night. One of the most beautiful things is just to walk through the streets and enjoy the way it's been lit. The next morning, we got up early and prepared to leave our awesome Airbnb. We had breakfast once more at Miss Pavlova's, and then we're on our way to another place in Portugal. Porto is a city that is charming. It's one that I hope in the future we will once again return to. We love Portugal, and we especially love Porto. And this was our 48 hours in Porto, Portugal. We hope you enjoyed the journey that Kristen, Kiefer, and I took. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments below. And by all means, if you haven't done so, please like and subscribe.